Recently, my time on the internet has been the strangest it's ever been. From surfing the dark web and talking about it, and from just looking for mysterious cases and incidences, looking at just the strangest things that one can find on the internet. I'm sure we can all agree that we've seen some messed up stuff during our time on the internet, but let's go back to a time where the internet was still getting introduced to everyday people, and back to a time when a company made one of the dumbest mistakes a company can make nowadays. Now, I do want to mention that I've already covered this topic in one of my previous iceberg videos, but I quickly glanced and went over it really quickly and decided that maybe I should make a video dedicated to it. The matter that I'm talking about is the mystery behind user 927's search history. But yeah, we're going to be looking into the history of a massive company and how they came to release everyone's privacy and search history, and we're going to be looking into the most strangest single individual search history that I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, if you find this type of content enjoyable, consider subscribing because I post content like this almost every single week, or I try to. Sometimes it takes a bit longer, but yeah, I don't want to waste any more of your guys' time, so I hope you all enjoy the video. Now, before we go into any of the user's logs, first I have to bring up how this all happened. And this all has to do with an internet company going by AOL. I'm sure many of you have heard of it. Back in the day, AOL was seen as one of the most dominant companies in the internet industry. But pretty much AOL was an American online service that provided a variety of different things, such as emails, instant messaging, news, weather, and entertainment. AOL was a significant force in the early days of the internet, and at its peak in the late 1990s and early 2000s, it had over 30 million subscribers worldwide. However, something terrible would happen during their rise on the internet. In August 2006, AOL released search logs of about 20 million search queries conducted by more than 650,000 of its users over a 3-month period. Now, originally, the release was intended to provide researchers with data to help improve search engines and related technologies. However, this would be one of the worst mistakes they can make, and almost any company nowadays. You see, upon releasing the data of over 600,000 users' search queries, they released it in a way that did not fully hide people's identities. The release of the data was done without proper anonymity, and the personal information of many users was not effectively masked. You essentially just got your ass doxxed, my guy. As a result, the search logs contained user identifying information such as users' IDs, IP addresses, and search queries that could be linked back to specific individuals. Let's take this one for example. A person going by the name Thelma Arnold was linked back to their exact location with these details. Through simple clues and hints, the New York Times was able to successfully expose a user going by the user 4417749 as Thelma Arnold, a 62-year-old widow from Georgia. AOL realized the mistake shortly after and within a couple of days took down the file, but users around the globe had already downloaded and copied the files containing the thousands of users' information. Safe to say that this is one mistake that I'm sure AOL will never forget. This made it possible for anyone with access to the data to potentially identify the search activity of specific individuals, including their personal interests, medical conditions, and other sensitive information. As you can imagine, AOL, upon release of this data, caused a significant public backlash, and AOL issued a public apology and promised to take steps to prevent similar incidences from happening in the future. In September 2006, as some of you may have predicted, they caught a class action lawsuit filed against AOL in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California. But pretty much the lawsuit explained how AOL violated the electronic communication privacy and other business practices. They seek to have at least $5,000 for every single person's information exposed online. However, the company managed to settle the class action lawsuit with affected users and agreed to pay $5 million in damages. This case was settled back in 2013. However, with the advent of broadband internet, AOL's dial-up service became less relevant and it lost its position as a leading internet service provider. In 2015, AOL was acquired by Verizon Communications, and in 2017 it was merged with Yahoo to form Oath Incorporation, which later became Verizon Media. Now, I forgot to mention how the list of the user's information was presented. So basically, AOL did replace users' names with random numbers to help with anonymity. So they basically would put like user number 7860 or something along the lines of that. But because each user's queries were given the same random number, it was simple to see a person's complete search history. As you can see with the list on screen, you can see how users have different generated numbers on them, and they have descriptions next to them, but that's not how it was originally. This list is just edited to understand who is who. But anyhow, among the list of users, there was one user that stood out. Now, don't get me wrong, there were plenty of other users that were strange, but there's a reason that this user stood out among the rest. That user being user 927. Now we're going to look through the entire log of user 927 and see what type of bizarre and disturbing things this user was looking into. It is worth noting though that this user has still not been identified and is still anonymous till this day, and that's probably good because who knows what would have happened to their life if they were to ever be exposed. March 1st, 2006 at 7:16 p.m. We would see user 927's first history search, which would be Yoko Ono Anatai Dio. I apologize very much if I butchered that. Now, this is nothing unusual, but I'm sure the user was referring to Anatai Datio. I'm sure I butchered that too. My apologies. As we see them type it a couple more times later down. But this is nothing strange as it's just Japanese text, which according to Google Translate means hold you, and Yoko Ono is a Japanese artist, so I'm sure they're just looking for a song, since we see them type it in a couple more lyrics and songs in the searches. Nothing unusual so far, but we do get some searches for the heal time for broken legs. Now, either this means the user has a broken leg, or they are simply just interested in how long it takes. But then we get a weird search on the 3rd of March at 9:14 p.m. which shows human mold. Now this isn't the strangest things, as we get a couple more searches below that say mold on humans and skin mold. Now this could explain the broken leg searches, as maybe the leg got infected or something. But then we get a bizarre search out of nowhere. Dog sex. This is strange, but then we get a couple of searches of mange. So my guess is their dog has a broken leg and is suffering from mold and mange from it. If you didn't know, mange is a skin disease caused by microscopic mites that burrow into the skin of dogs. This could explain the broken leg and mold searches, but I can't really wrap my head around the dog sex one though. But for the rest of the day, we'll just get normal searches of flowers and phone numbers. Also, with the following day, we would also get normal searches until scrolling a little further along the day, we get a sudden shift in searches. We are then presented with something strange and unsettling. At 4:55 p.m. March 4th, we get our very first R-word search, followed with forced R. This is quite an odd search, and as I don't think anyone should be searching for this, but this is only the beginning. For the rest of the day, the searches were normal, except for this, which is just a festival of what it literally says. Now for the following day, everything seems normal, following that with the same behavior the next day until on the 6th of March at 6:36 p.m. we get child R-word, and this is where it appears that user 927 seems to just lose control. Philia, dirty gay sex, BDSM electricity, sex torture, and the infamous dying Elmo. Now this is all strange and weird, but none of it is technically illegal, I guess. Maybe this user just has some really weird kinks and is exploring through this realm, but strange to say the least. This lasted for 3 days straight, with it ending on March 10th with some tranny searches to end it off with. Now it's on March 10th where I see that user 927 might be a woman. We get searches for ultrasounds of a girl. Now this doesn't immediately mean there's a woman, but it's out there. Now, the next couple of searches seem to be normal. We get some low-carb foods and some questionable emo king searches, but could be worse. Now, for the next following days, we get some semi-normal searches, but still some strange ones thrown in there, like her throat, masturbation, gym girls, and farm boys bestiality. Please don't search that up. Rough, gay sex, monster intersex genitals, and a lot more strange ones, but nothing I guess you can say is illegal. However, 15 days later, on March 26th at 4:05 p.m, we would get another bizarre search. Child incest. It seems like user 927 has some strange relationship with like children, and it's disturbing to say the least. But again, for a while we get a bit of normal behavior with a little bit of kinky searches spread in there, like Edgar Hoover's sex life, pee fetish, sexual torture, and more R-word. Now, a month later, on April 29th at 6:57 p.m, we would get weird searches, not illegal or disturbing, but Beauty and the Beast Disney, and we would get this search for quite a while until I'm assuming they just gave up and decided just to look up masturbation. But moving forward a bit in time, on May 11th at 8:32 p.m, we would once again get child P and hardcore RP. However, the next day we would get child P games, which is very strange and odd. Like, if videos of childs were bad enough, now the user is looking for games with that type of stuff in it, which is very weird. Now, this is all very bizarre and strange, but in my opinion, this next couple of searches is where the climax of just disturbing and unsettling searches is. On May 19th at 11:24 p.m, we would get a very perplexing search, which is Holocaust R-word, following that up with child M and R, and Japanese child slave M and R. Now, these searches seem very specific and targeted, like nobody would look this up, right? And want to watch this. Following this up a bit lower with VR child P and virtual children. Now, this is the last strangest searches that we would get. During the end, we would get a little bit of bangbos on whatever the her throat is, but the last search would be on May 31st at 3:56 p.m, which would be a traffic marketplace website, and just like that, it would be over. Now, we don't actually know who this user is, and don't know if we will ever know who they truly are, but whatever they were, it was strange and odd to say the least. Although this user is said to be anonymous, we do have a confession on a person claiming to be user 927 on the r/confessions Reddit community from about 4 years ago. It states, quote, "I'm user 927, not a troll post." Now, this is from a throwaway account, but I decided anyways to message them to see if I can get any more information from them. But still, as I'm recording this, I have not gotten any type of response. Although I do believe this is probably a troll or not real, the Reddit thread is pretty long and I thought it would be interesting to look through. So this user starts off the post with the following, quote, "God, I'm so fucking embarrassed. Hello Reddit. I didn't want to post this, but I'm pretty sure I'm the infamous user 927. When I say pretty sure, I mean this happened when I was 9 years old. I searched for very fucked up things. Not even kidding you. As weird as it is for a 9-year-old to look up such things I did. We, my family and I, had a very outdated computer with AOL. I'm very sorry. The fucked up things I looked for at the time was mostly out of sheer curiosity and never acted out or even thought of being after 13. You can also see some very sensitive things like sexuality. I've come out of the closet in 2015, so yeah. To those wondering, I am female. I'm in therapy and have meds and stuff. I am 100% not a troll. I'm so freaking embarrassed. I'm not a pedo or into animals. I have a 28-year-old girlfriend and I broke up with my ex because he was 6 months younger than me. If anything, I like older people. not younger even by a year. I'm not into animals, but still BDSM. God, I sound sick. I promise you, I'm not. I was just a fucked up kid. Now, there isn't too much that is a problem with this, but I guess my only question is, what kind of 9-year-old looks this type of stuff up? Like, I don't really think a 9-year-old would look up Japanese child slave, MNR. It just doesn't sound like a thing that a 9-year-old would be curious about. Now in the comment section, many have asked the same question as me, and the user responds with, please ask 9-year-old me, because I honestly have no idea why I was like that. It was like at 9 to 13, I was just fucked up. I actually am pretty normal now, regardless of having some mental issues and physical problems. They've also said they have a strange fascination with horror movies and serial killers, which might be a motivator for the strange searches, but to be honest, I don't know any 9-year-old who was into that stuff. I guess I kind of have the same idea with one of the last comments by Nama123, who says, quote, how exactly do you know you are user 927? Also, 9-year-olds don't typically know what the fuck some of the shit 927 searched up is. Needless to say, I don't buy it. And I mean, yeah, what kind of 9-year-old looks this type of stuff up? There are a lot of questions left here to answer, and we will probably never truly know who user 927 is. Now, due to AOL releasing this private information and user 927 having their search history shared with the rest of the world, this actually inspired a play to be made around the situation. The play is named User 927, You Are What You Seek. The story follows the journey of user 927, a woman who finds herself addicted to the internet and social media. As she becomes more and more immersed in the digital world, she begins to lose touch with her true self and the people around her, with the help of her therapist and a group of fellow internet addicts. But other than that, there has not been too much more information about this whole situation, and probably for the best. User 927 will forever now be an internet legend that is talked about till this day, and the AOL release will for always be a calamity that will be engraved within internet history. Nevertheless, this makes you question what many others' search history looks like, and what disturbing things others around the internet may be looking for on the surface web or the dark web. There will always be strange individuals searching for the bizarre. And for more years to come, I can imagine you'll only become even stranger. However, you guys, that is the end of the video. Thank you all for watching till the very end. I hope it was as entertaining for you guys to stick around to the end. Thank you all for the support recently. Recently I posted in my community tab, you know, asking if you guys have any like ideas or topics or anything that you think is worth me looking into to make a video out of. You know, I'm always looking for different things that I just don't know about, or you can just contact me via email in my about section. I also check them. I also check my emails like once a year, so maybe I'll check it out, you know. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you all for watching again. It's been amazing. So yeah, I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye.